Hey everybody, Frugal Farmer here. Been talking a lot about fertilizer lately, and this is kind of a not too old a memory, but several years back, I was uh, contracted to do some work on Fort Bragg. I had bid the job, and evidently somebody had underbid me, and they gave it to them, and they didn't complete it. So this company was kind of shady, but they had to go through a lot of uh, hurdles to work on Fort Bragg's, and it's not uncommon for them to hire people to subcontract work. Well, they needed a bunch of punch out work done. It was nothing big there, but they needed probably about 20 acres of grass planted on different construction sites to make them back as they were before. And just so you know, this is chicken manure. It's dried up and got cardboard in it too, which that'll decompose in the garden. And they called me the second go round and said they had awarded me the bid. And I'd already knew because I had talked to one guy who was on the job, and he told me they ran some guy off. So I didn't want to think I was stupid. I said, well, what happened with the other guy? And the guy at first tried to tell me, what do you mean the other guy? I said, the other guy y'all ran off. Well, something didn't mesh real well, and as for what he did seemed all right up to the point where I took over. And they wanted a certain amount of fertilizer put on, and they wanted a certain blend of grass seed. Well, every once in a while I get lucky, and for the most part this was one of those times. I contacted a friend of mine. He was a supervisor in a plant I worked at, and he vaguely knew me. I told him I needed a bunch of chicken manure, and he said, well, he had some. This was back before. Now you have to know a farmer real good to get chicken manure, because he's selling it, and for you to get to the head of the line like that, most time other big time companies have it already bought and contracted. But he had a bunch of chicken manure he couldn't get rid of. He said, you get all you want. And he had a front end loader out there. He told me, he said, I'll show you where I hide the keys. And I said, well, I'll fill it up in diesel and leave you a can of diesel fuel out there. And he said that was fair enough. And I eventually bought him dinner one night. I ran into him in a restaurant and paid for his dinner. It was well worth it. So I rented a dump trailer, and I started making hauls from my house to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Actually, it was Fayetteville. Fort Bragg, I had to get on base. Well, I was hauling chicken manure in there, and they had instituted guards at the gates and all. And we had one guard. He was looking for bombs and stuff, had the dogs on us, sniffing everything. And I told my guys, I said, I don't care what y'all do, but y'all better not have nothing on you, because you're on your own at that point. I will not help you one bit. Well, ended up, one guard there got to talk with me, and he asked me where I was from. I told him, and he asked me, did I know this individual? And I did. I graduated with him. I told him I did. I knew him. And this guard, he evidently knew him for a while. And he asked me how well did I know him. And I said, well, we used to be good buddies. I said, I taught him how to dance so he could get a date for the prom. He said, really? Because he was looking at me, wondering how I'm going to teach somebody to dance. I said, yeah. I said, but then he got real mad at me because his date didn't know how to square dance. So the guy started laughing. He told the other guy that. The other guy, I finally saw him, and he was cracking up about it. But anyway, when he was there, I could breeze right through. I'd show my license and head on through. Well, I don't know how many loads of manure I didn't carry out there. Dump and keep on trucking. And I was all into the night dumping loads of manure and all during the day. Well, I had to get some grass seed, so I called a friend of mine that owned a hardware store and asked him, did he have this particular type of grass that was called for in the contract? And he said, man, I've got 2 pallets for you, come get it. And I'm wondering, I don't know that I need 2 pallets, but I didn't know what the deal was. I got there, just so happened, they had a sprinkler go off and wet all their grass seed the day before. Well, that grass seed was going to start sprouting here pretty soon. So they had to expedite my date that I was going to sling all this seed out. So he gave me both pallets, and he's another one. I bought him a meal out of that deal. Well, I had that on the trailer, and come the day we had the tractor over there, I had one guy on the tractor spread and 2 walking by hand slinging seed. Well, we got everything covered up. Everything was looking good. Well, part of the contract, I was supposed to be paid then, but the guy started hem-hawing on my pay, and several calls, I told him, I said, I need to be paid. Well, the Corps of Engineers is over any projects that are going on a military base, or that's how it was over at Fort Bragg. I'm sure it's similar anywhere else. So I had to file a grievance, and I had to keep this stuff watered, because if it died in the ground, I know he was going to, not pay me then. So I was keeping it watered, and just so happened, I only had to water it twice. We had weekly rains, like twice a week during that time period. It was kind of a historically dry time of the year, but we had the rains coming in. So I didn't have as much time in the job as what I thought. So finally, he came down there to meet with me and the Corps engineer guy. So we were on one of the places where I had done work. He was inspecting. He started nitpicking. I said, I don't really care about you nitpicking. I said, I've got a big grievance with you, and you haven't paid me, so I want to give you all your money. I said, my contract, I have cookie cutter contracts, and I add to them as I need to. And I said, my contract called that I'd be paid when all this was planned. He said, well, I didn't get to inspect it. I said, never said nothing about that till now. I said, that's not my problem, that's yours. And I kind of got up into his personal space, and his eyeballs were about at chest level on me. So the Corps guy thought we were going to fight. And somebody called the MPs on us. The MPs came over there and questioned us, and the Corps guy talked with them, and everything was all right. Well, I told him, I said, I want my money. I said, you see, the grass is green as everything. That chicken manure. Oh, and at one area, I didn't even have to spread it. It was in a small confined area. And these kids were out there playing. They were using that as their playground. And the teacher asked, can they spread it for you? I said, heck yeah. They got in that chicken manure, and I know they were stinking. They got there, they spread that manure so good. And I wanted to buy them ice cream, but you couldn't bring in treats or nothing to kids, so that nixed that idea. But anyway, the Corps guy, there was something else wrong that I was not a part of, and he wanted that fixed. Well, the guy told me, he said, well, if you fix that, I'll get you your check. I said, I don't have to fix that to get my check, just so you know. I said, I won't fix that to get my check. I said, I want my check, and I want it overnighted to me tomorrow, so you need to get on the phone. Well, finally, he said, look, got to fix it. I said, well, here's what's going to cost. He said, all right. He said, go ahead and fix it, then I'll pay you for that and everything. I said, no. I said, you're going to pay me for everything before I do another. I won't even kick a rock for you here now. So there was a couple more phone calls took place from their home office. People telling me, well, we don't pay like that. I said, well, that's not my problem. Send me what you owe me. And finally, they paid me the amount to fix the other part of it. But ended up, I came out of that job, and all I had was labor and some gas and diesel involved in the whole situation. That was one of those rare times, but I figure I've been talking about manure a while, and I've had several people tell me I could probably come up with a story about anything. So I just thought about that today because I was messing with chicken manure, and it brought back how my friend had helped me with that, because I don't know how many trailer loads I didn't carry over to Fort Bragg and dump in there. I had it down to a science. Well, thanks for coming by. Come back again when you will. Share, comment, like, hit that subscribe button. God bless.